Welcome back to everyone to LJL, officially unofficial, and to our Academy League coverage here. We've had a pretty crazy first game. Joining me again is Mars Swan. My name is Canapet, and we're going to be taking you through our second game today. So, Swan, for anyone who's just tuning in, what do they miss between Crest Gaming Act and DFM's Academy teams?
A good old bloodbath, a good old fashioned level one. Let's try and find something from DFM. They didn't find anything. And then game number 2 and 3, they went over and tried to find anything. And we got our first blood by before the 5 minute mark. So I was greatly pleased with that outcome, honestly speaking. Yeah.
I mean, I think I would be as well if I was Crest Gaming. It's absolutely fantastic stuff, but we are on to Burning Core versus
Mm.
Rascal Jester. So, you know, as we talked about a little earlier on in the broadcast, there is a little bit of a danger of drawing comparisons between the academy teams and the main teams because they're very much not the same teams. That while they do have the same level of backing, these are some very new names for the most part we're seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting one because Burning Core is currently a roster that I look at, and there is a lot of pedigree on this team. There's players on this roster who have been signed to Burning Core for over a year and a half. Like, there is a lot of investment and long-time talent development that has gone in from the Burning Core roster. Though on the other side, Shakespeare. This is a player I've been seeing in tournaments for ages. They won the high school in 2019 with promo Van, who we saw the game earlier, and another player I can't quite remember off the top of my head. They've come second in a few events, but they are an Enchanter main. They're a Yumi main, which is just so vastly different to a lot of it. Like, there's Crippo, who was known, who in Scouting Grounds was known as Kiana Peanuts. They played more champions than anybody else. So in 2020 Scouting Grounds, they played more individual champions. They only played Lilia twice. Every other game they played on stage, including playoffs, they played a different game. They played a different champion every single time. So I'm expecting a huge amount of just fighting, these two teams pushing one another, trying to prove that they're better than one another. There's a lot on these two rosters. I'm very excited.
I would say I particularly focus on the creative. I think for Burning Core, you know, to be in two different scouting grounds is really fascinating because you end up in a
Mm.
situation where creative presumably has got the potential to go on to some bigger things, but right now they're going to have the extra level of experience over everybody here. So it's going to be tough to go up against that kind of player where you know that while your long-term ceiling as a player might be higher than creatives, where creative is right now is being, relatively speaking, the veteran compared to a lot of these academy players.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas on the opposite side, Cosmic, there's very limited experience that they've ever had. They're far more of a global player. They play a lot of Galio, Rise, TF sort of stuff, but they do play an Akali occasionally. So it's going to be interesting to see what the direction is actually going to be for how these two rosters decide to actually play it out. I mean, we've got an Enchanter main and bot side, but then we've got over on the other side, Peko, he's all about both playing a mix of enchanters, played a lot of Morgana and Karma, but on the opposite side, they've also played a huge amount of engaged champions. One of their most played champions is Thresh, so can't really sum it up more than that for you, Counterfeit.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated to see what happens here. I mean, based off of our first game, swift, decisive action in this game seems to be the course of the day. Perhaps if we do see more of the enchanters coming in, we see a more conservative style of play where it's going to be it's hard to get the kill, so you can't really snowball the game that quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, another player I'd love to highlight is Sirotoma. We've actually had the pleasure of even actually getting to ask them a few questions as they do speak in English over to us. And I was like, hey, what champions should I expect? These were the champions I was able to get. Kai'Sa, Ezreal, Caitlyn, for that Caitlyn Morgana. We know their support laner is an enchant main, so that's definitely it. Jinx, which we've seen so much in the actual LJL main. Varus, Ashe, and Xayah. They played a huge amount of Xayah when she was a hyper carry focus several seasons back. There's going to be a lot of it. And he's facing off against Akka Buff, who has been signed for Burning Core for over 2 years. That's investment into a player, and then we've got another player coming in with almost the opposite. So I'm there's a lot for this, and I really want to see Burning Core kind of go with fire because this is the team that has been developed for far longer. Just we haven't got to see it on a stage really recently.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly people come, as much as people come with expectations related to the main teams, the Burning Core, you know, if we
Don't have
look,
that main lost.
if we look back a little bit in time, we say Burning Core and Axis, what great buddies these two teams are, as the no expectations whatsoever squad. Burning Core got a single win in this current season, so it's not going to be too hard for their academy team to do better necessarily. We'll see. We've got the pick and ban for the second game about to begin. So, Rascal Jester, certainly they've got high expectations. Burning Core, they don't have any expectations whatsoever to labor under.
Yeah, one big one I want to mention is Rando getting hard targeted here over on their side. They are going to be playing on your blue side. And his Alawi, which is one of his most played champions across all of his accounts, getting taken off. And then we see a Yorick, not what I was expecting, but I'm definitely going to remember that. LeBlanc was taken, but remember, I mentioned so much that these two players play far more enchants in the bot lane. Thresh hasn't been picked yet, and it's just open. Burning Core looking though that they want to go for a Leona.
Yeah, that seems kind of dangerous when you know that you've got the potential of being flayed back from your engage still open, and Leona is locked in nonetheless for Burning Core. That's at least some tankiness and engage already. They know now they're gonna have to be dealing with a ton of javelins coming their way. It looks like Diana getting up in their faces is all of Burning Core's business.
I mean, if you look and ask me, I know that Kripo does play Nidalee. I have seen their Nidalee before. It wasn't too bad and it wasn't too shabby. I would love it though if Rascal Jesters would pair up though. What the? Okay, so where was the Renekton? Where's your setup champions that are now just gonna get absolutely just banned out in this second rotation by Burning Core? And Burning Core have gone for, well, you wanted creative stuff? Or creatives on the Yasuo. We've got the Yasuo-Diana combo. This will be interesting.
Yeah, we've got the setup for the play. I kind of like what we've got going on here for Burning Core. The tone has certainly been set here.
See, I said Renekton. What the
Oh no, it's in danger.
So mad.
It looks like top lane is focused for both teams as Kennen is stripped out as well by Rascal Jester, Yoshi, and Rando.
I'm so mad. I'm sorry. I'm so mad. Like, I mean, Burning Core.
Express your madness.
I mean, Burning Core should have. If they had picked the Thresh here, you'd have two champions which help set up for Yasuo. So with the Flay, you can get that very quick ultimate on for the Yone, or the Yasuo rather. So I would have liked to see that for Burning Core. But I mean, my far bigger issue, and again, set also getting taken away, I actually really like that. Another setup champion for Nidalee, both mid and top, depending on how good you are at flexing that. It can just mostly be just solo lane. I don't understand why Rascal Jester didn't at least first rotation. I don't know why you're picking Braum here, so like such a high priority. It shouldn't be this much, especially against something that is a team comp where all you know is Leona Diana. That's not going to signal you in one way or another which direction you want to go with your bot lane. Okay, well, we've got Ken and Wukong banned out, so Yellow Yoshi is getting the same experience. And there's been a lot of top lane bans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battles. That's 7 bans actually in total if you count the Aurelia. And Akabuff is going to be playing Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly top lane ended up being very explosive in our previous game, particularly in the early going. It looks like we're getting set up here for a pretty safe bottom lane, so it looks like it's going to be Poke City. Ezreal joining the Braum there, very, very hard to deal with. One more pick to come in, presumably the top lane pick for Rascal Jester.
Wait, did Burning Core just did Rascal Jester just now pick themselves into a counter matchup? What? Okay. Well, whatever. I'm not even going to think too. I'm not going to think too much about this one because I'm like, okay, if you're playing your Lucian mid, you should have just switched this around. Okay, so Lucian's now going top. So Rando's playing that. Cosmic's getting the Rise, and then we've got the bot lane already planned out. We have 0 set up for this Nidalee unless you land the Cosmic Binding with Rise. Outside of that, we are just on a plan. We've got double poke at least with Ezreal Nidalee, but outside of that, Oh, we're living on a prayer. Burning Core, though, on the other side, they picked my girl, Poppy. I love it. I love it. We got the double Yordle lineup. We've got the Yasuo setup with 3 champions to support him. Remember, Tristana Ultimate does trigger a knockback, which is in air, so you can Yasuo ult onto it. Burning Core won this pick and ban phase, and it's not even close. I'm gonna be real with you, Cannon. This is why this. Why is no one picking Camille? We've got multiple Camille one tricks and no one's picking their main. Are they all like scared to pick it because they're like, well, if I get judged for it, everyone else is gonna look at me funny?
Maybe everyone just assumes that everyone's prepared for the Camille pick, so there's no way you can ever possibly pick it. Yeah, so everyone mains it, and then nobody mains it, because you go into the pick and ban with the assumption it's going to be banned anyway, so you build your plans around the idea that you'll never get to play the pick anyway.
Sure, but then Yellow Yoshi literally got to play their second main champion of Poppy. So, I mean, one of these players got to pick a good champion that I knew they played a lot of. The other got their Alawi banned out, didn't go for Camille, and then looked like they got forced through how the pick and ban phase worked when that Yone when the Yasuo was shown. You just take the Lucian bot lane with the Braum. That's a killer bot lane, remember? You can't we've seen that historically. That's just destructive. Really good way of triggering the Braum passive. And then you just free out the rest of your lanes. Simple. You pick the Renekton over the Braum as well, because then he doesn't get banned out. I am interested in talking to Rascal Jester, man.
If wishes were fishes, what we've got instead, as you say, is a situation where another team that we didn't necessarily expect the world out of them is suddenly going to be able to throw down the gauntlet to a much bigger name team, this time in Rascal Jester. So maybe Burning Core could be on the path to equaling the record of their main roster team in this first game. That would be pretty big. I mean, Swan, if Burning Core Academy are able to do a good job here, do we just see them switch them around?
I mean, I'm just gonna hit this out here. If you have been seeing Tim Sven, I'm gonna fuck up his last name too much, but the gentleman that operates Oracle's Elixir does run it for Travis Gavitt Industries. He's been doing a GM armchair. I'm gonna be doing that same thing where I'm gonna run through each of these lineups. That might be the exact same thing I might be doing on my GM armchair for Burning Core. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Now, I probably would have an import. Like, I would import, like, a Korean player or two. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, in the corporal interview I conducted, he was like, yeah, no, you import a Korean player or two. You play through the Korean style in that way, because they've been playing in Korea on the Korean solo queue the whole time. They didn't have to grind Japan, because why would they? They can just play on Korea like normal. So don't have to do a jump through any hoops. Burning Core definitely have got a huge one. The only thing I will say about this Rascal Jester lineup for Hope, if they start getting a little ahead, they could snowball this game and it could be over in 20 minutes. Like, not even joking. If they get a little bit ahead and you know they just hit that first item, they just go, Lucian 2 auto attacks, Ezreal 1 auto, we're just dead. Like, that is a real possibility. We don't have great setup though for Nidalee, so I hope these spears are going to be perfect for it's not Kiana Peanuts. They changed their name now. Cosmics. No, that's their mid laner.
Kurup is how it's spelt, but I've no idea how it's pronounced.
Yeah. No, that sounds way better. I mean, I like their old name with Peanuts, but
well, okay, well, yeah, we've got a really exciting second game going forward as well. This whole season for me, one of the huge things coming out of it was the renaissance of Axis as a team. Maybe we could be about to witness the same thing beginning for Burning Core if they do well in this game. I mean, it's a lot to put on a team which we've never seen before, but it could be. That could be the start. I believe we've got that game ready for it. It's about to begin. Let's see if Burning Core can pick up the torch and steal some places from their main roster team. They're going to start off here with Rascal Jester making a very early invade, echoes of our first game.
Yeah, absolutely. A level 1 play, and we're not even going to be seeing Creepro actually even using their smite. They're just going to try and steal this red buff and then rotate back around. Though this was completely done with Burning Core being fully aware, so I am going to be inspired to see what Floor does decide to go in the direction. We haven't got all of the Conqueror stacks, rightly so this time, so we'll have to see how this does go. Outside of what I'm seeing, yeah, everything's pretty standard here. We want the Hail of Blades on this Tristana because you want to be able to force immediately. But wow, Cosmic absolutely abusing creative in the early laning phase, which is how this goes down. Pre-6 creative is going to be struggling, obviously, though. When Floor does come in and finds a gank, Cosmic can be put in a pretty suspicious position. It's going to be all about this Rise roaming and seeing what they can find around the map. But Jesus, Floor is getting seen all over by the side of Burning Core, Rascal Jester at this moment in time, as looks like this Nidalee has actually gone down, got the blue buff, got the red buff, and now is rotating around to get double blue buff and this top scuttle side. So they really trying to prevent Floor from getting any form of advantage this game.
I mean, that's what you get if you know where the opposing jungler is. You can, make sure you lock down the early significant advantage. It worked very well in our previous game as well. Get the ball rolling from minute 0. In this case here, we see Cosmic investing a lot of resources into knocking creative back in the early going. And note, of course, that we've got 2 mid laners with very different summoners from each other.
Yeah, not only are they different summoners, you just look at the early items. One of them went Doran's, one of them went Tyr. Like, Cosmic wasn't expecting to get a huge push on this. If anything, he was probably expecting a rather chill laning phase. This is going exactly how we wanted it to go. Though landing a spear onto a Yasuo when he's that far up is going to be pretty difficult. But look at this double scuttle crab. This is exactly what we saw from the last winning team.
Yeah, again, it's the early goal being locked down here, Kerp. So 3 buffs and both. Was that both scuttles? Yeah, it looks like it is both scuttlers. So for Floor, they're going to need to try and find something to get themselves a presence in the early going. We didn't get a chance to talk about this top lane matchup in detail. Rando versus Yoshi here. It certainly seems like there's a huge potential for Poppy to lock that Lucian down.
Oh, 100%. This is going to be the kind of lane where if you get to 6, like if Yoshi can survive to 6, which he's doing a rather good job here at the moment versus Rando, as this lane is actually going to be slowly pushing into him right now for Yoshi. He'll be able to actually farm up rather effectively. He's done a really good job of that. And honestly speaking, if I talk about the farming, I would argue that Rando hasn't punished Yoshi anywhere near the amount I was going to be expecting, as we see Sitoma just missing a cannon. Where I'm just going to dwell on that for a brief second longer because they might watch this back. And there we go. I'm going to continue on with it anyway. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, no, Yoshi should have been punished far more. There is a huge lead at the moment, but that's just because waves are crashing and everything. You can already see they're farming up again. And this is just going to be the thing. The issue is this Nidalee has 0 setup. This is why I was getting so flabbergasted in the pick and ban phase, because how are you ever meant to land a spear unless Shakespeare is there, unless Cosmic's landed that binding? It's going to be so difficult.
Yeah, it's going to require a lot of work. For Rascal Jester, they're not the ones on the first objective, though. It's Burning Core going for this early Drake. So this is way ahead of that first Rift Child, almost on spawn, that Burning Core are keeping objective focus.
I love this from Burning Core. Hey, I mean, Floor knows that he's been pretty punished this whole game so far by the side of Rascal Jester, and his team haven't actually been able to support him too much. So he's like, hey, you know what's a good mutual objective that has a lot of experience packed into it? That's a dragon. Don't worry, mate. I just got 5 from it. And then, hey, that's immediately catching back up in the experience difference that these 2 junglers had. Hey, if you hold a parity and you know that your top side is probably going to happen anyway, just sacrifice it. Do a play somewhere else on the map and then try and recover in some other facet while the rest of your team plays around. Hey, you know you want to hit to mid to late game because this team comp, when it comes to front to back, you got the tanks. You can actually do it. Whereas for Rascal Jester, it's all on this Braum to be the front line, the back line, the everything for protection for his team.
Well, just to catch up on some of the things that were going on there. So Krupp going up and taking hold of the Burning Core, or I guess the top quadrant of the map, means there's a lot of pressure on Yoshi. Now they know that they haven't got any help coming. Rascal Jester completely cut the top side off for Burning Core. Presumably looking to get an early move in on this Herald once it does spawn in at 8 minutes.
Yeah, it would make the most amount of sense. The problem is, for Rascal Jester in that scenario, Burning Core have already taken everything they wanted on this bot side. We see this now that Floor is just like, hey, I'm just going to get my blue buff, reset back around. I know the timers. I know that the enemy jungler knows my timers, so I'm just not even going to take the back that everyone's expecting me to do. I'm just going to do the clear now. I'll reset afterwards because, well, Herald comes up in 40 seconds. I can now actually path in that direction when it's beneficial for me and not do some really kind of disjointed pathing, which doesn't actually help me get for an objective when I could actually play around it. And I want to get over there because my top side's going to want the help later.
Yeah, and of course, I suppose with level 6, Kerpa is ahead on farm right now compared to Floor's Diana. But of course, Nidalee, with not really having an ultimate to speak of, isn't going to have that big power spike. Herald's coming in 15 seconds. Notable that for Rascal Jester, they have got very good vision up in this top quadrant, but it might be getting creative. Has got a chance to clear that out ahead of a potential Herald contest.
Yep, and he also pinged over, was able to use that vision to just confirm, okay, one, are they doing this Rift Herald as it spawns? No. Good. What that also showed is because he looked at the map, he was able to confirm that the side of the top lane of Rando, he had also reset, which basically means they became aware at the same time that both junglers at the same time had reset. They're both going to be doing these bot lane buffs or top side buffs, and now they can actually rotate and actually play around. And look at this, they're basically an identical situation. This just shows why I love the fact that Floor was just like, I'm going to take my blue buff, I'm going to just do the clear that I need to do, and I'm going to play around this. And look at them, he's actually first there to the objective, and they've got actually an advantage when it comes to numbers.
Yeah, Burning Core, they didn't have good vision on the other side of the Heralds, in the Rascal Jester territory, but that hasn't mattered ultimately. They've gotten down one more than the river, but Rascal Jester seem to have no interest whatsoever in contesting this first Herald, so Burning Core, again, are very early on these objectives, locking them down for themselves, and while they might be behind in gold, that Herald should make up the difference.
Well, actually, I disagree with you, Counterfeit. I think Rascal Jester did want to fight. I just think their timers were off. I think the problem was Burning Core were far more decisive with the action that they wanted to take. And that's why it actually paid out. That's why they were able to do it all, because we did see Shakespeare rotate around. We did see Citratoma actually come back around. They just weren't there in time, and they had to just sacrifice it, because when they did get there, they're like, I think it's already done, guys. Rift Herald went down, and that was it. Yellow Yoshi, though, wants to find a fight on Rando.
Yeah, we were waiting to see if Rando would get aggroed onto. There's the catch, and the deletion. First blood to Burning Core.
Creative.
And it was Floor of all people who grab it. Creative now taking the fight with Crab, who cannot sneak away. But wow, considering how this game started for Floor, for them to be the ones to get first blood and have the Herald to follow up as well, what a fantastic turnaround for Burning Core.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just a play that the side of Burning Core was like, hey, we're taking a bad situation with this Diana who just got counter jungled from minute number 1, a blue buff on a Diana. I can tell you from experience is well, make or break. Floor has done a fantastic job at spelling it out and going, okay, it's going to be fine. I'm going to be able to reset. I'm going to find the way to stay in this game. And he has. Yes, he might have been a few levels down on his opponent, but he's been far more impactful than his opponent. He got that first dragon, he got the first Rift Herald, and he got them first blood. Well done, Floor.
Yeah, I mean, Kerp definitely has got a lot of CS under their belt, and I think that's part of the reason why there is a lead right now. Rascal Jester, they're dominating CS in jungle and in top lane as well. And in bottom lane as well, to be fair. Citratoma is doing very well down there with Shakespeare on just rocking up the CS, but the kills, well, the kill so far, lying with Burning Core. We're waiting to see if maybe Rascal Jester can grab some kills of their own and start building this goal lead into something significant while the Drake gets started.
Drake might get started, but there is a Diana on this bot side. I'll be interested to see it, though. They have got priority, though, in the mid lane matchup and the jungle 2v2. These two top laners are just smacking one another, but no one's going to kill one another. I don't think so. Well,
spoke too soon there. As there we go, the kill potential of Yellow Yoshi able to stop the dashing of the Lucian. Creative comes in and takes advantage of, as you pointed out, the multiple different ways that Last Breath Ultimate can be enabled across the entire Burning Core team.
It's so easy. Poppy, two ways. You can either dash, and if you dash and hit it, you're gonna get it. Also, if you just Poppy ultimate, you're gonna get it. So there's multiple ways there. Diana, obviously the ultimate. Leona doesn't have it, but guess what? Tristana does with her ultimate. So there's so much setup. Though that was pretty poor by Floor and Creative. They definitely should have escorted it, made sure at least do a minimum of a Crest Gaming act. But what you should do, and what we haven't seen from these two Academy teams that have been playing around these Rift Herald, they didn't actually push a lane and get it sorted. But this is just, yeah, showcasing that obviously Yellow Yoshi just dashed into the Lucian, which immediately Creative Flash pinged, ignited, and then that was all she wrote afterwards.
Well, I mean, while that Herald was disappointing for Burning Core, everything else so far has been pretty good. And I suppose that's what we're kind of going to be expecting here at the LJL Academy League. These are not the polished main roster teams. They're going to have, kinks to try and work out here in their play. But Burning Core, they've managed to take the lead back for themselves, coming up close to 50 minutes. Swan, talk about... talk to me about the long-term prospects of both of these teams. We've had a pretty low kill game so far. Which of these teams is benefiting the most from that?
Oh, Burning Core 100% of the time. Shakespeare is all of the front line. She has got to do so much for the side of Rascal Jester when it comes to a team fight scenario. Because if she is not in the front line, it's going to be so difficult to play around the front line, play around the back line. Whereas if you look at Burning Core, they have got front-to-back team fight begging from their lineup. They've got a Poppy, loves to play front line. They've got a Leona, loves to play on the front line. And then they also have blockers for this Ezreal with the Poppy, with the Leona. Hey, Diana gets pretty good at going in, jumping straight onto her backline, causing issues. Zonya, ultimate, you're done, bruv. It doesn't matter. They've got so much set up for the Yasuo as well, so Creative doesn't have to go on the first Yasuo ultimate that looks really tempting. He could actually be pretty conservative and just wait for the best opportunity and then go on the target that they really want to go on. The side of Rascal Jester does have the double AD, obviously with that Lucian Ezreal, but Lucian has had a pretty difficult time over the last 5 minutes or so, and Yoshi is just hungry for Rando.
There's the stun perfectly placed. Rando is waiting for Rando to try and dash away, but resisting for now, but it will cost Rando most of the health bar. With Rando having no summoners left available, Burning Core, they are here for Herald number 2, taking back objective control. Shakespeare is there. Will get a little caught out, drops down the ult, but across the wall to safety. Rascal Jester did not contest last time round. They've got a chance to do so now.
Rep does need to try and find something. He did get one really nice hit there, but hey, some honey fruit quickly heal you up now. Pico just getting a little suspect, but Akabuff is trying to stand away out of vision. Little do they know that actually Rascal Jester do have a vision there. Currently, it seems like RJ just want to throw spears and hope that they can find something here.
Yeah, this seems like a Herald where you do need to bring the whole team as it's going down very quickly. True Shot Barrage does not manage to allow for any kind of stinning nonsense. Burning Core did take a fair amount of damage, but they won't be punished by Rascal Jester at all, as Rascal Jester do back off. So second Herald goes to Burning Core. No good news for the Jesters so far.
No, and if anything, I would also argue that Burning Core got back on the map better than the side of Rascal Jester, though a huge amount of damage is being thrown into this mid lane because Akabuff was all left alone and no one else helped them actually clear these waves afterwards. Has been something I've mentioned once or twice before in these last 2 games that we've been seeing in Academy, and that's just good because you want to be seeing pretty obvious flaws in their play, because over the first few days we'll stop seeing a lot of this. I saw it in Scouting Grounds, and I'll guarantee you, Counterfeit, we're not going to be seeing it by day number 5 here in Academy. These players improve so quickly. I can't wait, because these minor adjustments and in like together, it's all team play stuff. This isn't something that you talk about in solo queue, because this is the kind of differences and disparities between the 2 games. We're on a Cloud Rift again, which makes things less exciting, but I'm so excited to see how this second Rift Herald is going to be used and how the next few team fights are going to be playing out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see, now we've got the mythic items across, or pretty much across the board here, that we, get some big decisions being made here for the Jesters as third Drake starts up. So the Jesters do at least have that one Mountain Drake in pocket, so they're not completely bereft of objectives, but they don't seem like they're going to be able to get Drake number 3. All the Burning Core squad so far, the gold is at least pretty darn even across the team. So raw fighting power isn't out of whack as of yet.
Yeah, we're just waiting on that Immortal Shield bow for creative at the moment, and then once he hits that, immediately they do get a minor power spike in their build, so we'll have to see when that plays. Oh my god, though.
Jungler battles, Floor almost gets caught out. The Solar Flare ends up missing in the end as Burning Core try and disengage. TP coming in. Rascal Jester want to take the fight. An illusion comes in. The hail of gunfire doesn't quite get the kill through as we do have the catch onto Floor. Everfrost locks down and it's Surotama picking up the Jester's first kill of the game.
Was really well ran down from the side of Rascal Jester. Sirotoma almost making a statement on their own, going, I don't care, I'm just gonna keep going for this kill onto Floor. The Diana didn't have the backup that they expected, and now, oh my god, Akka buff just getting taken so low, and Rascal Jester's just upping the tempo. They just want to keep pushing, they want to keep going, and hey, they found a kill, so why not?
It's always interesting to see a team go for exactly the same thing again. In this case, going straight from a fight to that mid lane tower for Rascal Jester, and both times it worked just as well. And this time, going to end up giving them first tower gold in the game and putting Rascal Jester back in the gold lead.
Akka buff, can you please stop standing right next to your minions? You've been hit by an Ezreal about 4 times this game alone. I've just been watching. I'm just going to make a quick suggestion, buddy. This all started, obviously, though, by the Nidalee landing the spear, going straight onto Floor, getting them half health. The Solar Flare actually hit onto the Diana, but onto, I believe it was, it was the Nidalee. They run it down, but look at where Cosmic is. He's so far ahead, wants it, and then they're like, wait a moment. Oh no, Sirotoma just stole that from Cosmic. I'm sorry. That was just a steal.
Yeah, I'm liking what we are seeing from Rascal Jester here now. We've had the opportunity arise to them to get really aggro and really, quick map movements as well to seize hold of objectives. And it's worked very well for them twice so far, as there is a catch onto Rando there. Remaining present as the Herald number 2 Burning Core. What's going on here? Apparently don't know how to use the Heralds effectively because both of them have done nothing.
Which is worse for the side of Burning Core than Rascal Jester, because Burning Core, if you summon a Rift Herald, so you spend the time first on the map getting the Rift Herald, you get 25 gold when you kill it. And then, honestly, after that, you get the experience through it. You get more experience and gold if you kill the Rift Herald after it's been spawned by the enemy team than you do when you just kill it on the Rift. So Rascal Jester have actually net positive through Burning Core's play. That is just unacceptable, I'll be honest.
It's wild. Because, yeah, you're right. You've got the potential for the tower plating, you've got the potential for first tower as well. That's a huge amount of money.
It's the damage on the towers, yeah.
Yeah, they've left so much on the table, Burning Core, in the opening part of the game. They could have had, and let's be clarified, yes, from 2 Rift Heralds, just 50 gold in the pocket of Rascal Jester. This definitely feels like a pain point in the Burning Core's play. They're going to have to correct if, during the course of this Academy League.
Sadly, Pain Gaming is not here. We are not covering Brazil, nor will they be at Worlds. My heart goes out to Pain Gaming. It's never quite the same when Pain Gaming isn't at Worlds. It's similar to DFM when they're not at Worlds representing. But the new guard is being overthrown. Rascal Jesters, they've got their sister team, their big sister team in the LJL. Kanatu was a rookie around this time last year. He had just transitioned from Overwatch League, came into Scouting Grounds, had a really stellar performance. Didn't go perfectly at the beginning, but though, Rando, you're not to the top laner of Kanatu. You still need to have a bit of learning through. I apologize over to you, Counterfeit, because I've completely taken that play from you.
Well, I mean, pain is the best teacher, as so they say. So Rana feeling the pressure there.
What teacher have you got, mate?
Apparently a very mean one. I mean, well, Rando, I mean, they've been suffering, they've been learning quite a lot so far this game, because they've died the most out of anybody in this game. So Lucian, top lane pick. I mean, it's I guess it's maybe a little early to say if it's a good or bad pick, but it's certainly been punished, at least, by Burning Core.
Yeah, and Creative kind of also showing why double ADC with a poke lane versus a Yasuo is a pretty difficult one. One wind wall goes out, and it's like, we can't do anything now for the next, like, 15 seconds. We're going to have to just wait it out, find the good angle. But that was a huge arcane blast that just came over from everybody. And this Ezreal, Sirotoma, okay, you're controlling the phase. You're controlling everything. Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
Well, I mean, this is fantastic for the Jesters here, because they slowed down what could have been sole point for Burning Core getting set up there, so they bought themselves a lot more time to get back into the game and potentially, to get the whole team rolling, Rando included.
Absolutely, and well, you were asking about Mythics. They've been coming through, and this Ezreal now has got the Trinity Force. They've got the Manamune, well, not evolved, but it's not far off there, and now they've got a stopwatch, so they don't even have to worry so much about the Poppy Yasuo setup that is there, or even the Diana. Immediately pop the stopwatch, you should be okay for a little bit longer. You just need to make sure you have a way of shifting out afterwards.
All right, so if we're talking about the strong points for each team right now, the one, of course, that leaps up for Burning Core has got to be Creative. With those 2 kills already, mentioned, has got their Mythic already locked down. They're very, very strong right now. For Rascal Jester, they've only got the 1 kill, so I guess Sirotama counts as their strong point?
Yeah, Sirotama, Cosmic also, but just because of the standard scaling that you always get with a Rise. The only issue is, if the team fight goes mildly in Burning Core's favor, it could go hugely in their favor, because Creative does have that wind wall, which I was mentioning earlier. It's a great way of blocking out a poke / double AD comp. The Rascal Jester are going for this Baron, and the side of Burning Core don't know about it.
Yeah, Rascal Jester have gotten so much better with the objectives.
Look at the map, they're just pinging around. They just had their Yoshi reset.
Yeah, well, they haven't. Yellow Yoshi has got TP, but there's no ward on the backside or anything like that for Burning Core. They're coming into this one pretty late. They're going to see across the wall. They've got to make a decision right now. They flash in. The multiple last breath. This is the combo Creator was looking for. Burning Core, they managed to swipe hold of 2 kills in return for that ban. So they should be able to make a push of their own.
They absolutely did. They were able to kind of find some form of solace with the fact of, okay, they've just taken it, but we're making the call immediately. Floor flash over, dash into a multiple man ultimate into it, and the side of Rascal Jesters, they're getting collapsed. Oh.
Yeah, getting collapsed as Sirotama deleted as Akabuff goes across the wall. Burning Core may not have been the ones to get the Baron, but they are the ones making the push.
Well, they're not only doing that, they want this mid lane as well from the looks of things, but Shakespeare just come along to back them up. And the other thing is Rando was off, missing on the map. Last seen in this bot side, could easily been coming through the top side, or bot side jungle on vision that they're not aware of just by walking straight through the river. If they were there, big collapse, but what a huge ultimate coming out from floor. Flash over. Wow, the Leona ultimate misses, but still gets that multiple man ultimate. Sadly, though, for the side of Burning Core, obviously Ezreal is able to arcane shift over, recalls back, and is able to escape with the empowered recall, as well as also on this bot side. So they actually, it was a spot where it could have been a 4-for-0. It ended up only being a 2-for-0, but look at that damage from floor.
Yeah, that's crazy as well, because, we're calling out the last breath there, but, Floor, even in setting up the play for Burning Core, doing more than twice as much damage as the Yasuo ended up doing overall. Really nicely done. And so with that, the Baron being taken, the gold is still almost dead even between the 2 teams.
Yeah, minus 600 Baron play at this moment in time.
Okay, almost getting torn up. It does seem like Rascal Jester, they've got their eyes on using the remnants of this Baron buff to at least put some pressure on a tower.
We'll have to see where it goes, although Yellow Yoshi keeping control, keeping command, and preventing the side of Rascal Jester from trying to push in as much as they'd like to. All right, Rascal Jester got a turret with this Baron. At least something was found out of it.
+6 gold! Yes!
God.
Well, okay, no, I think this Baron buff's going to expire in the negative for Rascal Jester. Well, yeah, honestly, fantastic stuff from Burning Core there. We thought they were going to sit all the way back. It felt like maybe Rascal Jester thought that was the case as well, because Burning Core came to that Baron play so late that Rascal Jester felt like they were completely caught off guard.
Oh, 100%. And now they're trying to play around this dragon fight. It looks like this Niddler. Oh!
Crap, gonna get caught there. And of course, you can't get away when you've got the Poppy to lock you down. Triple knock away there. Maybe a step too far for Burning Core as they lose their Leona. Now they're going to be the ones falling back. In comes the Lucian damage from afar. Nice as the wind wall to try and create an escape corridor. Yoshi down low, but the Cloud Drake is there. And if Burning Core retreat, they'll have to give that one up.
I think they're going to have to. There's too many ultimates that have been used. They used Floor's ultimate. They didn't have any way of following up. And honestly, they were just losing Leona there was probably the worst / best case scenario at the same time for Burning Core, because while they didn't find a kill of their own, they weren't coordinated anywhere near as well. You mentioned that lovely wind wall. Honestly, if that didn't come out, Rando was probably going to be able to recur and get a kill back over. And I think that's an important person to actually highlight coming out of this now, because they've actually started getting some items. And they're getting a lot of gold now. They've got 50 CS over Yoshi. The amount of assists and everything now kind of being nullified. That's why the gold lead is very slowly starting to go in Rascal Jester's favor. It's now a 1k gold advantage. Even though they are negative in the kill department, they're up in the turret department.
Yeah, I mean, that's making a difference, isn't it? You know, with in a land where Burning Core, you know, botched both of their Herald attempts, their early lead has not snowballed out. We're in a situation where Rascal Jester are one Drake away from Cloud Soul. And of course, we've yet to even see Cosmic, you know, going for those big Rise, deploy the team ultimates.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of those.
Cloud Soul.
Yeah, we haven't seen a single one of those, and the side of Rascal Jester really aren't kind of using their full advantage at the moment. But this might be one of the first time that this team has ever played a tournament together, let alone the fact that they've probably only had a last few weeks of scrimming together. Whereas at the side of Burning Core, that was my expectation, because a lot of these players have been signed to the roster for at least several months, that there was going to be a lot more synergy. I am seeing some of that synergy. But honestly, the fact that Rascal Jester are playing from a deficit from a large part of this game, and they've been making it work pretty well, I'm actually slightly favoring Rascal Jester, even though comp-wise I prefer Burning Core, and in theory the players should be favored. They're just Rascal Jester seem to be better at the macro at the moment.
Yeah, that's really interesting for that to be the case for Rascal Jester. As you said, you know, we've got, you know, the established team, even if the players themselves have still got, you know, a lot of work to do in the main league to kind of get people's eyes on them. Rascal Jester to be doing it this well is impressive. The goal lead is there. Baron is coming last time round. Burning Core, whether deliberately or by just being a little late on the play, weren't able to stop the Baron being taken, but they certainly were able to stop the celebration afterwards. That huge play from Flo, followed up by Creative, meant that that Baron power play ended up being a negative.
I think it was sheer luck, honestly, that Burning Core were like, hey, they're pretty quiet. Didn't we just see Sirotoma just run it to the top side? Maybe they're doing Baron, and then all of them are running. Now, Burning Core are going into a Baron pit versus a poke comp. This seems pretty silly, if you ask me.
You've locked yourself in there, but no, it was a bait the whole time! Burning Core baited us and them! Shakespeare is locked inside and deleted. The Cullen coming back
from the re-engage.
From the Lucian. The health bars of Burning Core have dropped because of all this poke. Zero Timer is following up. The poke is good. Yellow Yoshi gives their life up to enable the escape. But Rascal Jester, they've got themselves 4 healthy members. Maybe they go for Baron now instead.
Yeah, 100% they should do it. They can definitely pull them back and bait them on this, and they've got the front line to do it. They've got a jungler still.
Sirotama is down low, taking a lot of Baron damage. I have to think both teams are going to abandon ship here. With no Pixie made, here comes the move in. The team is brought and deployed. Creative can't get the ult off in time. It's going to try and sell their life dealing. Now goes the last breath. In comes the Tristana. They're going to try and salvage the play, but no! It's only a single kill. No, I take it back. Floor steals one on the backside. The health bars are minimal. Floor comes in. Flawless victory. Grabs and sells a triple.
What the devil did I just see? I saw so many things get missed and some things hit. Kurip just didn't do anything. Probably could have done a bunch more in Tiger Suns, but now guess what? Because so many people died and there's a Diana still on the table, they always have the ability to Baron. Oh, Sirotama, you had such a good chance, and it just wasn't quite there. The Rise and the Nidalee, though they went through, they couldn't make it work. And I'll be honest, Creative lasted 10 times longer than I think anyone in Rascal Jester thought they would last. Really great use of everything there. The stopwatch was masterful. Immediately now upgraded that into a GA. But that's a free... Oh, guys, can we... Creative just got up. They could have waited 2 seconds. They could have waited 2 seconds. This is the second time I've seen this, and this was a jungler there with a smite. Floor, you could have given it to your mid laner. That's a decent chunk of change. That's basically like using 250 gold just to give your mid laner a buff. Come on, lads.
I guess we're in a world where we've got the true shot barrage of giving everyone the time of day. Okay. So it goes across the entirety of Burning Core. Are they going to give up the Cloud Soul?
What do we... No. All right. Burning Core with the 10, the 5-head play here.
Okay.
Twitch chat, listen out for this one, because this is how you go diamond. All right. This is how you get your diamond promos. As we watch this replay, first off, look at how well it goes out for them. They get Shakespeare. It just goes, hey, Burning Core immediately. But this is the collapse that comes back out from Rascal Jester. If they're able to play these elongated, long-time team fights where they get their poke out for a long period of time, this just is going to always work out great for them. The issue is they don't really know what to do here. Look at this. Sirotama is actually full health. Like you mentioned as we came in, they're just taking a lot of Baron damage. If they didn't do that, they definitely win the fight afterwards, because look at how low they went. Yeah, you're 100% right about that one, Counterfeit. Cosmic tried to find a play, misses it, and now they're like, we got to try and make something out of this. They remember they've got a Rise ultimate, so they go for it. The problem is, they don't actually find anything. Why is Nidalee not in Tiger form? Okay, so immediately switch to Tiger form. The problem is they get knocked up, and then look at the amount of ultimates. Akabov completely commits with his 80 carry. They go for it, and then Flora is able to get her at the very end and then find their last few kills. They're going for the Elder buff. I think that's the 5-head play that Burning Core are going. That's how they're going to get Diamond. They're going to allow them to get Cloud Soul so they can get the Elder buff. I mean, that's my assumption. I think it's pretty stupid. I would have thought, I'll be honest. But, I mean, that's where we're at.
All right, well, where we're at is almost 35 minutes into the game. Burning Core just said they've got the, they seem like they've been enjoying things so far, but they're now going to have to deal with a Cloud Soul enhanced Rascal Jester. So that's a big burst of movement speed whenever a ult is used. So that does seem like it fits into the Rascal Jester style of very snap decision making, snap making their plays.
And if they don't make these snap decisions, we've seen what happened for Burning Core, because Rascal Jester will gladly run around, follow you, find you. You can't hide. This isn't taken, because Sirotama and the rest of the team will find you, and they will definitely attempt to kill you. It just so happened that the last team fight went really well in Burning Core's favor, even though it had no right of doing it. They've gotten the second Baron that came on here. But they didn't do anything with the Baron buff. So we've had a Baron for Rascal Jester, and they got nothing. They got mid-turret, and then we've had a Baron for the side of Burning Core. Not really much of anything. So, yeah, compared to the first game, where Crest Game React were able to end the game off of that Baron, we've had two teams now not do much. So, exciting action here. It's got to be the Elder, right? Because we are one team fight away from the game just being over, because death timers are just so much longer now.
Yeah, it feels like a shorter game, I think, because it's been so divided up into, very distinct sections of, here's the big
Hmm.
fight, here's the big objective. But outside of that, the teams have been, coasting out through this game, trying to feel away. I suppose the good news here is when you're a team whose playtime together can be measured in minutes, the more minutes you have on the Rift playing together, the better.
Sure, I'm willing to concede that one. I'm willing to let that one fly like that. I'm game.
It's a stretch,
I like what you're saying.
Oh, look, we've got ourselves a new statement here, which is Corrupt is in a hell of a lot of trouble. They're going to get chased down here and locked into their own stasis. They will fall down as the rest of Rascal Jester, maybe regretting coming back to help them. The Fisher comes down as Yoshi absorbs most of the culling, able to back off. So only advantage to Burning Core, who are ahead by the smallest of margins.
Oh, it's so negligible, isn't it? Counterfeit. That minor advantage that Burning Core have in the gold is almost destroyed completely just through Cloud Drake alone. It's almost destroyed by just the by the Earth Earth Drake that they got at the very beginning for Rascal Jester, because that alone just gives you a decent chunk of change. It's about 100 gold, I think, technically, for each one of those you stack, so that almost just nullifies it in and of itself. We're still not finding a full team fight where more than 2 members on a team dies. Have you noticed that throughout this game? We had that one team fight where it looked like 4 members. It was going to be 4 members for Rascal Jester going to die, and then it ended up only being 2. We're getting a lot of that. I don't know if we're going to be having it over the next 30 seconds to a minute or so, because Baron's going to be coming up, Elder's going to be up. How are your vocal cords feeling, Counterfeit? Are you ready?
I have a weird feeling, Masfon, that given that we've got 2 major objectives on the field, that given these teams have been mostly, either...
Passive?
Yeah, mostly passive. They could just swap objectives. I don't know if you can see.
No.
I don't want to put that evil on you, but I think that would make sense. The only problem is that if this doesn't happen at the same time, if Burning Core are able to take this Baron down quickly, they baited this out before. I think they're going to look for the play again. True Shot Barrage gets absorbed. The Baron actually gets taken with no reply from Rascal Jester. It's 20 seconds off of the Drake coming in. Burning Core could actually reset and come back for the Elder for a double buff.
Sure they can, and they also have Yoshi with his TP still on action, so if they ever need to do a flank or something, they absolutely have that opportunity. And there is a bot lane wave that he could absolutely teleport to. They haven't got the vision though, they haven't really got any wards. Burning Core are doing this very blind, and Rascal Jester will take this Elder Drake like nothing else.
Well, this is the advantage for Rascal Jester. They know where Burning Core are coming from, but they're coming at speed. Floor comes in. Rascal Jester get annihilated. This Elder Dragon is sitting there laughing at them as they try and retreat out of the fight. Instead of taking the Elder Dragon, they give the double buff to Burning Core. Burning Core are back in the driver's seat, and Rascal Jester are rocked.
All right, 2 minutes. Let's see what the side of Burning Core can do with the double buff. They only killed the jungler of Rascal Jester, but hey, that's more than enough for them to comfortably feel like they can take this Elder Break. They're knocking on their door now for Rascal Jester.
Look at that Baron power play goal there. A lot better than Rascal Jester's was a little while ago. We've got the Baron up minions in the base. Inhibitor is down. It looks like we might even be looking for Nexus Towers. Could be a step too far for Burning Core. No! The Braum is immediately dead. Shakespeare is out of here. The rest of Burning Core diving behind the Nexus Towers, looking for more kills. Nexus Tower almost down. The health bars of Burning Core a little bit shaky here, but they are going to finish the job. Nexus Tower number 1 goes down. Burning Core here and now, 14 minutes in, are looking to finish the job. And by Jove, they've done it.
What a performance from Burning Core. They found it. We believe the veterancy and the amount of tenureship that these players had would reign victorious, but Rascal Jester had phenomenal macro play and actually ended up getting a dragon soul that they had no right in getting. While it's very much a congratulations to Burning Core, commiserations and credit is worth over to Rascal Jester, because they did not go out not swinging, not fighting, not looking for an opportunity, and they had leads throughout a lot of this game. It very much came to those final few team fights that Burning Core were victorious, and Floor led the charge on that.
Well, you're pointing out for Burning Core, that was their big strength coming into the game, is that they had an established team who would play together, who could pull off
Well,
those combo
theoretically,
plays.
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the combo plays that really defined this game.
Yeah.
You had you had the turnaround Baron play for Burning Core. They turned what should have been a disaster of a an uncontested Baron into a fight that was completely even for them. And then you have the end of the game where they do the same play over again, and it wins them the whole freaking game.
Crazy. It's like they set this up. They've been doing the plays in top lane with the with mid and top with the Poppy setting up multiple times. You mentioned with the final one with Floor as well. They were so impactful, and they were also just like at the end the micro play to just for Burning Core, Baron, reset, Dragon. That you can just tell that's how the comms were going. They were like, we're going to take this Baron. They put the wind wall up. Remember, they were waiting for Siratoma to throw out that the Ezreal ultimate, and they were like, wind wall, get this, reset. Because they reset as fast as they could. The only member who didn't was the Poppy. Because remember, as I mentioned, they literally had it. Oh, well played by both these teams. We saw a lot of good stuff from both of them.
Oh my gosh. All right, we cannot talk too long on this because we've got tons more games to come for you today. We'll be having Melvin Isle coming in to join the casting desk for our third game of the day as DFM return after a disappointing opening to the league season. Are going to be up against the Hawks. Hawks for life. Always, always. So that should be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we've got that and 3 more games afterwards, so 6 full games today. So do stick around. Plenty of the Academy League coverage to come. Of course, multiple days of coverage to come as well. So fantastic stuff. It's been my honor and pleasure to join you, Master Swan. I hope the rest of the day goes absolutely fantastic. I'll definitely be watching from the sidelines and cheering everybody on. We'll see you guys after the break.